Yes, definitely. We do carry over our conflicts from one life to another. Because generally speaking, as I have already stated in other episodes of our podcast, we keep on continuing ourselves with all our relationships, all our life stories from one life to another. Nothing is left behind, nothing is really forgotten. Of course that from one life to another, the veil of oblivion is placed on our conscious mind, but in the subconscious mind, everything that we have ever lived in any dimension, on any planet, everywhere, it is clearly and in a detailed way recorded by our subconscious mind. This is why it is possible to do regression therapy, because in this very relaxed state of mind, which we call trance, you might enter the subconscious mind and you might read everything that was written there, imprinted there in your past lives. I was fascinated by the level of detail which characterizes each relationship, and by the fact that each time when you meet someone new, important in your life, that relationship is taken over and is continued exactly from the very point where you left it in your previous life. Of course that you don't remember it consciously, but I have lived myself for a few times moments when I met someone new, and a few years later, under regression therapy, I discovered that spirit in another previous life, and I realized that in a very detailed way we resumed our relationship exactly from where we paused it in the last life. So it's like someone put a stop or a pause button when we saw for the last time in our previous life, and then we resumed and someone pushed the play button when we met again. So yes, one of the reasons why we do come back on earth is to solve our previous karma, to heal every wound that was unhealed, to solve every conflict that was left unsolved, so to acquire the lessons that were not fully accepted and fully acquired in your previous lives. And thus relationships do occupy a very important place in our soul, in our lives, in our life scripts. Of course that from one life to another, what does change are the roles. So if Tchaikovsky was supported by Nadezhda Filaretovna von Meck in his past life, it doesn't mean that he will meet her again in the same position. On the contrary, most often the roles might be opposites, might be reversed, or they might find themselves in completely different roles. Yes, I found Nadezhda Filaretovna von Meck in this current life, and the relationship resumed from where we left it. And of course that in this case, because there was a conflict in the end, I felt this kind of tough aspects in our relationship. These things that were unsaid and unsolved expressed themselves, but also the nice things in our relationship, the open and the closed friendship. So in conclusion, yes, we do carry all the time the conflicts from one life to another, but we do also carry with us the nicest and the most profound things in a relationship, and especially, of course, we do carry with us the love that we shared with the others people. So it is very touching to go in a past life regression and to feel the love that you have for a spiritual being, and then to come back into your current life and to recognize that dear one in another role. To know, for example, that you have loved so much your child, that you have adored him or her, and now he might be your child, or he might be your brother or your sister, but you keep on loving him or her so much, and the story goes on. So it's very touching to feel, to be conscious about, and to know that everything keeps on evolving, everything goes on, nothing is ever stopped, and that yes, conflicts are carried from one life to another in order to be solved, but what is most important is that love is carried from one life to another.